My name's Mark Martin. The reason I'm testifying today is my parents bought a farm in 1956. They raised 11 kids on that farm milking cows. My father and mother put the farm in land preservation in 1996, 150 acres. My dad passed away in 1996, and I wanted to continue the farm. I have 11 kids. I have 7 kids. I want the man my dad was. Half the man.
At 7, I think it would be 11 too.
Right.
Sometimes 2 feels like 11.
Right. But I was blessed to be able to get a job with the Department of Agriculture. But I wanted to keep the farm going and keep the kids busy and teach them a work ethic. I lease another 12 farms in the area. I farm over 550 acres. I got 12 farms that I lease. All of them are in land preservation program. And my biggest concern, and I have a piece of farm equipment out there, is if you look at it when you leave, you'll see how I'm protruding out into that road. And my concern is that truck traffic of these 18-wheelers. And I live right down the road from the Oak Ridge facility. And my concern is these 18-wheelers, and if this thing continues, it's just going to increase. I've heard numbers 10 to 15,000 for these 18-wheelers, where I'm exposed to it, and my kids are exposed to it with this farm equipment that I have. And that's a big concern to me. Also, really quick, I want to read this forestry. The definition from the Webster's Dictionary. The science of forestry is built around the principles of multiple-use land management. Harvesting and replanting of timber are the primary activities. The main objective is to maintain a continuous supply of timber through carefully planned harvesting and replacement. I maintain that these mulch operations are they're land clearing operations where they got, from development, they got to dispose of this material, which is the wood waste. And this wood waste has come from PG, Anne Arundel, Montgomery, Frederick County, wherever. It's not just generated here in Harris County. There is a need, though. We need to solve the problem. And the way to solve the problem is to keep it in an M1 area for industrial processing and to keep it out of the rural conservation area. That's my testimony.
My name is Leslie Dahl. My farm is downwind in a lower elevation from the mulch manufacturer's Oak Ridge. Since the onset of this operation, our horses, livestock, and pets have developed coughs, choking, conjunctivitis, and inoperable nasal tumors. Last year, a hay crop was lost due to the arrival of a beetle that we had never seen before. The wood waste debris brought in by Oak Ridge comes from all over the state. This debris can contain insects and their eggs non-indigenous to Howard County. The owners are operating low-key right now while they're being inspected. And once they get this through, they're going to operate like gangbusters again. Several of the mulch manufacturers here tonight are probably going to try to convince you to allow industrial mulch processing on other than expensive M1 zone land. I believe this crying the poor farmer is just a slick maneuver for wealthy corporations and avaricious business owners to capitalize off the cheaper farmland and taxes. Also, in my opinion, you're about to be greenwashed tonight. Greenwashing is the practice of making products seem more environmentally friendly than they really are. Don't get fooled by these polluting manufacturers of natural wood waste recycling.
The last time I was here was, I believe, July 19th of last year. And I and Mr. Olander and Howie Figge and a number of folks packed this room with small farmers. And what you saw was a bill that was passed at 10 o'clock at night when you passed comprehensive zoning. They changed the definition of farming to allow a lot of this stuff to happen. What you're seeing is basically an attack on farming and on ag in Howard County. If you keep all of us who raise animals, who have other types of farming, if you allow us to be farmers instead of accessory uses to our residences, anything we do that is farming is going to be allowed as an accessory use. So that Mr. Ollinger is going to be able to compost and bring in what he needs to compost for his farm. I will be able to compost for animals that I have on mine. The question is it agriculture? We paid as taxpayers a lot of money for these ag easements. Farmers need to be able to make a living, but they need to be able to do it as agriculture. We are not seeing mulch and stump dumps as agriculture. This is not rocket science, council members. It worked in the past. What you have here by redefining farming is redefining it so you are allowing an industrial and other uses.
All right, thanks, Pete.
I'm Robert Long. I'm speaking to you today as a farmer, as an owner of one of the larger mouth easement properties in Howard County, which is 200 acres. I'd like to briefly address two issues. I think that there's not enough wood generated on a 200-acre crop farm to sustain the smallest NWWR facility. Of the hundreds of farmers that I know and have known, I've never heard of a farmer owning or using a dump grinder. Normally, in the spring and fall, after crops have been harvested or after bad storms, tree lines which encroach on the crops are normally trimmed and cut off and disposed of on the farm. I firmly believe the idea of allowing NWWR to help farmers is a fallacy created by a few big business owners for their own profit. No farmer in Howard County is going to invest $1 million in equipment to process his own branches and trees. Therefore, virtually all land clearing debris would need to be brought in from off-site. Old Howard County and Maryland Ag rules, if you look at page 4 in the preserve easement use table, rules specifically states farming includes basic processing of agricultural products as defined in that section, which that's taking care of the products that are produced on your farm, those branches and trees, but shall not include the acceptance of disposal of land clearing debris or rubble that originates off-site. Old rules also state conditional uses for sawmills and mulch manufacture of any size are not allowed. I believe going back to the old rules for the entire RC district would protect all RC residents. So we are counting on you to protect our health, safety, and welfare. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Robert Hensing. I'm about 2,000 feet away from the proposed mulch farm. So I work at Microsoft. I don't know if I look like a farmer to anyone here, but I actually am. My wife's actually a farmer, and she's dragging me unwillingly into it. We raise sheep, cattle, pigs, turkeys, chickens, and basically our mantra on our farm, which is only about 3.5 acres, by the way, is to raise organic, sustainable, healthy animals. And so I'm concerned that Mr. Orndorff's mulch farm will impact my ability to raise my own healthy animals on my own farm, because I am so close in proximity. And I guess my bigger concern really is, if we're into special interest farming, for special interest groups, I'm kind of into that. So I'd like to bust in people by the thousands to my farm and host TED Talks, where I will present on farming and raise and grow future farmers on my land. So can we propose that? Is there any support for this? I can bust them in down my road, thousands of people. I don't see any problem with this. Anyways, I am concerned. I'm not making light of this. It is a very serious situation. I have kids. I have healthy animals. My concern with fire is that I won't be able to evacuate all my animals from my farm. And I don't raise I have 50 acres elsewhere. I don't do everything on my 3.5 acres, but I do have a lot of animals on my land. I have cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, sheep, and I'm trying to be a farmer and trying to do the right thing. Thanks.
My name is Paul Schof, and I own Chapel View Farm, which is at 2640 Jennings Chapel Road. I want to say that I'm happy to live in a country where we can come together in a civil way like this and resolve our differences, even though we have great passion behind it. I want to thank you, council members, for your service to us. I do appreciate it. In the course of my work, I travel all over this country, and when I retired, I had a chance to live anywhere I wanted to in this country, and I came back home to Howard County. I'm proud to be a Marylander. I feel myself fortunate to live in this wonderful county. And I think one of the reasons that I feel that way is because of our progressive land use policy. My wife and I were one of the pioneers to put our farm into the Maryland Land Preservation Program. She's since passed away, but if she were here with me tonight, she'd join me in saying it's one of the best things we ever did in our lives. We do it again in a heartbeat. And I'm a great advocate, and I applaud the visionaries who put these programs together, and I applaud the people who work to keep them alive and keep them growing in our great state and our county. One of the things that pleased us about this program, and one of the reasons we went into it, we think it's it's a great opportunity to live in a high-density area such as the Washington-Baltimore area and be able to drive just a handful of miles and be in a farming setting. But I tell you, I don't think the people who enjoy that privilege to get in their car and drive out and see farming operations are saying to their kids, come on, let's get in the car and go out and see an industrial mulching operation. If you stop 10 people on the street and ask them to talk about farming operations, they'll talk about crop farming, chicken farming, cattle farming, Christmas trees. They'll talk about horse farms like mine. They'll talk about vegetable farms. But you're going to have to stop a lot more than 10 people to hear somebody talk about industrial mulching. If you go to a farm implement dealer and look at their inventory, which reflects farming opportunity, you will not see large industrial mulching equipment. My farm is about a mile away from the operation of Woodbine Road. Throughout the farm, I'm on the near side to it, on the far side to it, and the houses on the far side to it. Everyone, with the doors closed and the windows closed, can hear this when it's cranked up and operating. When we signed our easement to go into this program, let me read to you just a little bit. It said the right, talking about my rights at home, the right to conduct upon said land agricultural operation on and on and on, including directly related to the processing, storage, sale, farm, produced on said above described land, not trucked into said described. It's not farming, ladies and gentlemen. It's industrial. It belongs to the industrial